Yo, what's up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. So it's finally time to go over the patch notes for update 1.1.2.0 for Battlefield 6. This is the phase 2, if you will, of season 1. It's releasing tomorrow, I believe at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. So we are going to go over all of the important updates here. There should be a lot of good stuff in here. I haven't read it yet, but it is quite lengthy, so go grab yourselves a drink, strap yourselves in, and as always, if you guys enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that sub button to stay up to date with everything Battlefield. And without further ado, let's go. Alrighty, this update delivers a broad set of improvements to soldier responsiveness, aim consistency, animation fidelity, and overall stability across Battlefield 6. We've also introduced a new limited time mode, refined aim assist behavior, and resolved a large number of weapon, gadget, and vehicle issues based on community feedback. The update will be available tomorrow, November the 18th, at 9 o'clock UTC. So first off here, California Resistance, that is the name of the update here. We've got a new map, Eastwood, a map with the Southern California theme. We've also seen a little trailer of that a couple of days ago. Variations of this map will be available for all official modes. Conquest mode on this map will include tanks, helicopters, and the golf cart, which is the new vehicle. Nice to hear that they are going to include helicopters here. Kind of a shame that there's not going to be any jets, and I think we can assume then safely that this is going to be a similar size of map to maybe something like Sobek City. So, unfortunately for people holding out for a big map, this ain't going to be it. At least I don't think so. New time-limited mode, Sabotage. Most of you guys will have heard of this. A themed event mode focused on demolition and counterplay. I believe this is like 8 versus 8. If memory serves. We've got a couple of new weapons as well, the DB-12 shotgun and the M357 trait sidearm. So this is basically like the Rex from BF4. It's like the go-between between the 44 Magnum and the smaller caliber sidearms that are already in the game. Gauntlet mode to include a new mission type, Rodeo. This mission provides multiple vehicles for players to fight over and battle with each other with. Players earn bonus points for defeating enemies while in a vehicle. So I guess this is like a miniature like tank superiority. At least it sounds like that. That actually might be one for me because I'm quite the vehicle player. I like my tanks. Alright, Portal updates. Sandbox map. This option will let Portal experience builders start with a more level playing field to bring their imagination to life. The golf cart vehicle is going to be available. The Battle Pass, the California Resistance bonus path, becomes available for a limited time. As far as I understand, you don't need to have completed the other paths within the Battle Pass to access this one. It's going to be separate, so you should be able to flick straight onto it. It says a limited time. I assume it's going to run like the length of Season 1. You know, obviously when Season 2 comes along and there's another Battle Pass, it's going to disappear then. But part of me also wonders, like, when Phase 3 comes along, are they going to like replace it with something else? I'm not sure. There's a new underbarrel attachment, the Slim Hand Stop, unlocked via a challenge, so that's just like the other two that we already had in the first part of Season 1. New feature coming later in the update, Battle Pickups. These powerful weapons will be available in specific experiences and Portal with limited ammunition, but pack enough firepower to help turn the tide of battle in your favor. Okay, coming later? Like, I thought this was going to be part of the Eastwood map, and it was going to kind of tie into there, and likely it was only going to be available on that one specific map. Apparently that isn't the case. Like, if they're not coming now, then, like, when are they coming? I thought this was, like, an integral part of this update, but what do I know? Now, major updates for 1.1.2. Aim Assist has been reset to its open beta tuning, restoring consistent infantry targeting behavior across all input types. Now, I'm not a controller player, so I'm not too familiar with like the problems that have been going on with Aim Assist, but it certainly sounds as if things were a lot better in the open beta, and that's why they've reverted them here. They've improved input latency and stick response for controllers as well, providing smoother aiming and more responsive soldier movement, weapon accuracy and dispersion tuning, fixed unintended weapon dispersion increase rates, and improved non-recon sniper rifle accuracy while globally reducing dispersion across all weapon types. That is actually massive. There have, of course, already been some pretty big changes to dispersion, like the bugs that they fixed and that sort of thing. That's gone a long way in fixing the dispersion, but now they've also come in and they're just doing like a whole pass over all of the weapons. So that is really, really nice. Challenge and progression clarity improvements make requirements easier to understand and track. Again, this was sorely needed. I'm very curious to see exactly how far they've gone in that regard. Like, have they gone over every single challenge? Because right now, it is true that a lot of people don't know how to complete these just because the way they're explained isn't very clear. Major polish pass to deployable gadgets, including the LWCMS portable mortar, the portable laser designator, and supply crate systems. Now, that is only a polish pass there, so it probably doesn't mean that the mortar is going to get buffed or anything like that. As we know, the mortar, it kind of sucks, to be honest. I never really use it, but yeah, that's good to hear nonetheless. Fort Linden has been added to Portal, expanding available segments for community-created experiences, so that will then go alongside the other two sections of the Battle Royale map that already exist in Portal. Alright, areas of improvement. Aim assist. As we got closer to launch, we revisited aim assist tuning based on internal testing and the full range of maps and combat distances coming with release. Our goal was to make aim assist feel more effective beyond mid-range fights, which was one of our focuses within Battlefield Labs and Open Beta. At launch, we increased slowdown at longer ranges, but once the game went live, we saw that this made high zoom aiming feel less smooth and harder to control. After reviewing player feedback and gameplay data, we are reverting aim assist back to the values some of you experienced during Open Beta and Battlefield Labs. This will now serve as the default, whilst still providing you with the ability to alter the aim assist to your preference and playstyle via settings. This change keeps aim slowdown consistent across all ranges, helping with muscle memory and providing a steadier, more reliable feel as we move into future seasons. So I guess that sounds like a pretty good change for controller players there. Like, I hope it's not going to affect us in a bad way, like us keyboard players. I know we kind of throw a lot of flack at each other, the controller players and the mouse and keyboard players, but we'll see how that one turns out. And now we get down to the changelog. Now, bear in mind, guys, this is going to be pretty long. I may do a few cuts in the video, so just be aware of that. Like, if I suddenly switch, it's because I read through a load of rubbish and it's not really worth mentioning in the video. So first of all, we've got a bunch of changes here to the aim assist and basically a ton of fixes for various controller things. I don't think we need to read through all of these, but of course, if you're a controller player, feel free to pause the video there. But basically, we've sort of summarized that already. This one is very important here. Fixed an issue where the Assault class extra grenade ability would not grant 2 grenades on spawn. I think all of the synergy for the weapons for the assault rifles, pretty much everything, all the buffs you get for the assault class are broken at the moment. Like, they just doesn't really seem to have any effect on the gameplay at all. In fact, Ace, exclusive Ace, he did a video on that recently and his findings showed exactly that. So I think that is one of those fixes there. Fixed an issue where weapons could become invisible when crouching before vaulting. I've been affected by this one once. It's kind of funny. It's actually a buff because, like, your weapon model is just removed and you can just aim with the center of the screen. So it's sort of like an unintended or unintentional buff. They've apparently fixed bouncing behavior when landing on object edges. And I'm not sure if that's the one I'm thinking about, is where basically you run over like a pebble and your soldier just flies into the air like you landed on a pogo stick or something. I hope that is a fix to that, because I get affected by that all the bloody time, and it's led to so many deaths for me in the game, so I really hope that is somewhere in here. This one's kind of interesting here. Increased double tap window for danger ping from 0.2 seconds to 0.333 seconds. So I think that's the one. If you double tap, well, Q it is on PC, you'll sort of highlight an area on the map and say, hey, there's like danger over there, instead of spotting. And I think much of the time, people are just hitting Q to try and spot, not necessarily to put a ping on the map, and you just inadvertently do it. So I think that's the reason for that one. Okay, moving on to the vehicles, here is another really big change. Fix several cases where IFV's MR missile could do more damage than intended to main battle tanks, IFVs, and AA vehicles. If you remember, if you lock onto a vehicle and then you do like a top-down attack with it, it was basically just like one-shotting the vehicles sometimes. Kind of ridiculous. Now, I didn't know about this one, but apparently they fixed the oversized hitbox on the UH-79 helicopter, which is the Black Hawk helicopter, the transport helicopter. Sounds like the hitbox on it was too large, so that could sort of explain why it was getting hit so easily with tow missiles and that sort of stuff. Although, to be fair, tow missiles in this game are just like incredibly easy to use. That's definitely like an issue in and of itself. They've also fixed unintended aim assist from attack helicopters' gunner missiles. Not sure what they're referring to here. Like, the attack helicopter gunner missiles, these are lock-on anyway, so how does aim assist actually, like, affect that? Not clear. Maybe it's it locking onto the wrong vehicle at sometimes. Okay, we're coming down now to the weapon section, guys. So dispersion tuning past dispersion has been globally reduced slightly to reduce its impact on the experience, fix multiple instances of canted reflex and canted iron sight optics clipping with higher magnification scopes. All of these here are basically just a bunch of fixes to various attachments for the weapons, like fix the issue where 2 green lasers for the DRS shared identical hipfire stat boosts. So those have all been addressed. They've increased the weight of long-range performance in balance for automatic weapons, benefiting the PW7A2 and the KV9 with minor adjustments elsewhere. And then they've reduced recoil and variation for the LMR27, the M39, and the SVDM for improved long-range reliability. So all these DMRs actually getting a pretty decent buff there. Alright, here's another really big fix here. They fixed the M15 AV mine proximity placement exploit. So for those of you who weren't aware, there was an exploit in the game where you could place down mines that weren't supposed to be placed close to one another. You could kind of stack them using an exploit. And then what would happen is a tank or an IFV would drive over the top of the mines and get instantaneously destroyed. So that's really good to hear, actually, that they fixed that one. Moving on to maps and modes here, of course, we've got the new Sabotage map, which is going to be time limited. We've got the new Eastwood map. And then down here, they fixed the matchmaking logic to prevent late stage match joins, which is a really great change. This happens all the time to me. I'll join around because there's like a losing team, somebody leaves the game, and I will then get put back in there right at the end of a game and, you know, have to sort of restart. I think we've all had that happen to us, not just in this game, but Battlefield 2042 as well. So nice to see that they are changing that kind of thing. This is also kind of an interesting one here. Reduced opacity of excessive environmental smoke across multiple maps. So think Operation Firestorm, where you see these big pillars of smoke, you know, it's really concealing sometimes what feels like half of the battlefield. Those are going to be a little bit more see-through than they were now. I'm surprised to see nothing about the changes to escalation that they talked about. I think, was that yesterday's video? I think I spoke about that with you guys. Yeah, they were talking about increasing the cap time of the flags and also just like of the objectives, so the time it takes for you to score a point in escalation. They were talking about increasing that by 20% with this patch. Maybe they've just not gone ahead and done that yet. Moving on to UI and HUD. They've extended the top UI on Strike Point to show detailed alive, downed, or dead player count. So that is the new one life only mode that of course came with the beginning of Season 1. I think they are missing one more bullet point at the bottom of this section, which reads complete overhaul of the Hulu style UI, but alas, that is not happening yet. Under settings here, added a new option allowing players to sprint automatically when pushing the stick fully forward, so I guess that's only for console players there, and then added a new key binding that allows the player to instantly swap to the knife instead of having to hold the button. This key binding will not allow to perform takedowns contextually, but will still allow takedowns to be performed once the melee weapon is equipped. Okay, so if you press this button and it gets your knife out, it's not going to do a melee takedown, but if you have the knife out and you press it again, it will perform a melee takedown. That's actually really, really cool, because at the moment you just have to like hold the knife button, and it does take a little while, and you know, you're getting your knife in and out constantly, so nice little addition there. Here we have single player. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm pretty much just going to skip this section because who cares? They've added a new scripting function here in Portal For music control, that's actually pretty cool. So that's going to allow creators to like start playing music at certain points in the round, or maybe if you step into a certain location, that sort of thing. Under hardware here, fixed an issue where frame rate will be capped to 300 FPS with NVIDIA cards. Well, I don't think most people are going to be getting more than 300 FPS, so probably not the biggest issue. And then under RedSec here, for the vehicles, they fixed an issue where the golf cart could set off the PTKM 1R gadget in Gauntlet. So that is the audio mine. I mean, why wouldn't the golf cart set it off, right? It makes noise. It's got a little electric motor whirring around in there. It should set off the audio mine. What's not fun about an audio mine picking up and taking out a golf cart, man? So that right there, ladies and gents, is the end of the patch notes. Some decent changes. I'm going to be honest, there's not as much stuff in here, given the length of them, as I thought, like important things. I read through all of it. As I said earlier on, I did a lot of cutting out because just most of it wasn't really worth mentioning to you guys. As always, I will be linking the full patch notes down below, so if you guys want to go in and check them out for yourselves and read all of the fixes, you can do that. But honestly, take it from me, most of the stuff in here is just like, we fixed some random bug that you've never experienced and you've most likely never heard of. So I tried to cover the important stuff that I think you guys will care about. Tomorrow, we're going to jump in and play the new map. I will be streaming here on the channel as soon as I get in from work, so make sure you're subscribed to stay, well, to come along to the stream, and also just to stay up to date with everything Battlefield. Have a good one, guys. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't enjoy the video, then leave a like for Lopper the cat, because how can you not? Does she not deserve a like? Look at those biscuits. Look at that kneading. Oh.